time to request drivers at any time, in any city where Uber has launched. Drivers are able to go online at any time as well, and have full flexibility to choose when and where they receive business. The experience begins when a rider requests a trip. The closest driver to that rider automatically receives the trip request and has 15 seconds to accept. Once they have accepted the trip, the driver then simply proceeds to the rider's location and notifies the rider when they have arrived by tapping the Arriving Now button. When the passenger gets in the vehicle, the driver begins the trip and navigates to the chosen destination. At the end of the trip, the driver presses End Trip to complete the fare. Payments are calculated within seconds, and both the driver and the rider have a chance to leave a rating for each other. Drivers are then immediately able to accept new requests for a ride. It's a very simple experience, which is a big part of why Uber has been so successful among both riders and drivers. After every completed trip, your client can leave a rating between 1 and 5 stars. Go Online module. Once you sign in and select a vehicle, you will see a button that says Go Online. Before you go online, we suggest you are in your vehicle and ready to pick up a rider. We suggest staying offline if you're about to go in the shower, are eating, in the bathroom, or any other situation which will prevent you from driving to the rider immediately. If you're online and you need to take a break, simply hit the Go Offline button until you're ready to pick up a ride. Your phone will start beeping and the screen will flash. You will have 15 seconds to tap the phone screen and accept the trip. The ETA is shown so you will have a general idea of how far away the rider is. Remember, when you see a trip request, that means you are the closest available vehicle to that rider. This means there is no driver on the road better than you to accept the trip. If you accept, the rider will receive the fastest pickup possible, which is a great experience. If you do not accept, the trip request will go to another driver who may be much further away, resulting in a poor experience for both the rider and the driver. Because all requests go to the closest driver, your acceptance rate is important. If you do not want to accept trips, please go offline. If you are online and looking for business, your acceptance rate should be consistently high. Begin Trip Wait Time module. Once you accept a trip and hit Arriving Now, you will see a Begin Trip button. When you hit the Begin Trip button, Uber records the time and location of the trip's origin, which is later used to calculate the fare. When you arrive at the pickup location, your client may not be ready immediately. We suggest waiting a few minutes before calling the rider. Drivers who call excessively are often rated poorly, as riders find this both annoying and unnecessary. If you do call the rider, it's a good idea to let them know where you are, and to check that they still need a ride. If your client asks you to wait, a few minutes of free wait time may be reasonable. You can also ask the client for permission to begin the trip, which gives them all the time they need, but ensures you are being compensated fairly. It's important that you do not press Begin Trip until your rider is in the vehicle, or until they have given you permission to begin the trip. If you start a trip too soon, you will be overcharging the rider, who is likely to leave a lower rating and request a fare adjustment. You should also make sure you have the correct rider before you start the trip. Simply ask for their name, and if they respond correctly, you can be very certain you have the right person. Cancel Trip module. If at any point you do need to cancel a trip, do not press Begin Trip and End Trip. Instead, simply hit the Cancel button in the top left-hand corner of the app. Then, choose from the list of reasons given. If applicable, the user will be charged a cancellation fee. But please note that not all cancellations result in a fee of being charged to the rider. Keep in mind that Uber allows every rider one free cancellation so that they can familiarize themselves with the process. Notice that you always have the option Do Not Charge Client. Be sure to use this whenever you do not think your rider should be charged, such as when you cannot fulfill the request after accepting. For a good rider experience, it's also best if you offer to cancel a ride when your client no longer needs a car. There's no need to ask the rider to cancel because you have the option to simulate a rider canceling using the client requested cancel option. Excessive calling module. The driver accepts a request, the rider automatically receives a text message notifying him or her that their driver is en route. That text gives them the driver's name, rating, and estimated time of arrival. Additionally, when the driver arrives at the pickup location and presses the Arriving Now button, the rider receives another text informing them that their driver has arrived. The app is built to be seamless and does not require a phone call from the driver unless there's a problem finding the rider. In fact, drivers who do call excessively are often rated poorly, as riders find this both annoying and unnecessary. If your rating falls below rider expectations, you may lose access to the Uber application. Remember, there's no need to call the rider in most circumstances. The Uber app handles most communication for you. GPS City Knowledge Module. The most common complaint is for poor route choice or lack of city knowledge. There are a few ways you can avoid this. First, it's a good idea to simply ask your passenger if they have a preferred route. If the response is yes, following that route will almost always earn a 5-star rating. Learning your city is also critical. The better you know one-way streets and local landmarks, the more efficient your driving will be. When you can complete trips faster, not only will your ratings increase, so will your earnings. Finally, having a GPS unit in your car can give you a backup for when you don't know the destination. We suggest using a traditional standalone GPS or a free application such as Waze or Google Maps. GPS routes are not always perfect, however, so it's a good idea to learn the city and have the GPS as a backup. Fare Review Module. Once you've arrived at the drop-off location and have confirmed that it is the final destination, press the End Trip button. Uber uses the trip data to calculate a fare, which then appears in the app within seconds. At this point, you will also be asked to rate the rider 1 to 5 stars. Select the rating that best reflects your experience and press Submit. Once you submit the rider's rating, you'll see 2 buttons. If the fare appeared to be incorrect, or if you had an issue on the trip, select the I Need a Fare Review button. There will be several options available in the menu, each of which notifies Uber automatically and allows us to quickly adjust the fare if needed. If everything looks great, just hit Go Online and your vehicle will go back online, ready to accept the next trip that comes your way. Accepting Cash Module. Uber is a completely cashless app. This is a big part of the reason riders love us and why we've been able to grow so quickly. Cashless means all transactions are handled through the app. If there is ever a technical issue during the trip, or you end the trip early, or begin the trip late, please just send an email to the Uber support team with details. We can easily look up the trip, figure out what happened, and adjust the fare. We're always looking out